to do if he bets. And of course I'm betting all my air, so I might as well just bet those hands too. Um, yeah, that's the beauty of scare cards, I guess. Even if your opponent knows that you're going to bet all of your bluffs don't make up enough of your range to the point where they can't, or to the point where they can continue with their marginal one pair hands. Had it fold to me here in small blind, I would limp with the king seven against a short stack, just to see how he reacts, because some of them just won't raise your limp, and even more so with the antes, you're getting 5-1 to complete, so you really only have to win the pot like 20% or less of the time to show a profit by doing that. And of course, you get to pick up a read on how your opponent plays. I was just thinking about the hand where I 5-bet the 4-5 suited, and was thinking that if his read is, he believes, strong enough to 4-bet, it's possible that my 5-bet is not good against someone who just sticks with their read and would maybe just 6-bet. But it's an awful lot to risk, and it's not something I think most people would do. I'm only opening this deuce 3 suited because of this weaker short stack here. If it was two strong players behind, I would never do this. I'm just going to call this because it's fun for the video, and I don't like to fold, but against a strong player, it's probably not a good idea. Really nothing I can do on this flop but fold. Floating is not a good idea. I beat a lot of his air, but it's a good board for him to continue to barrel, and raising represents pretty much nothing. Mainly because I would never really raise ace-x there. There's not really any good reason to do it. And I'm obviously 3-betting ace-king, aces, and kings pre-flop, so it already eliminates a ton of hands that I could have for value. It's always nice to get ace-king suited when a guy posts. So opening to 2.5x with ante seems like not the greatest idea. It seems like you let your opponents defend their blinds too profitably. And most guys will defend their blinds too wide to begin with, so you might as well just make them pay for it. Again, a spot definitely where I don't want to 3-bet, especially with a weaker player in the big blind. It's much more advantageous to allow him to call with dominated hands, and hopefully flop pairs that will be dominated by mine. So this is a spot where I'm going to go ahead and lead to exploit relative position, try to get this guy to put money in the pot, and also not allow him to check behind hands with a decent amount of equity against me. The only problem with this is I'm leading a hand that, if I'm raised by this player, puts me in a very awkward spot. I would not fold the flop. I would definitely call at least one and then see how the hand develops. But, I mean, my actual equity versus range is probably not anything great. I mean, if he's raising a lot of strong draws and, of course, all better hands, then I'm going to be put in a turn spot where I'm usually just going to have to end up folding if he puts a big bet in, which is still okay because I'm definitely near the very bottom of my leading range. If I had a set, or I guess if I had a set, I'd probably just 3-bet the flop, but that's going a little too far into it. Or I guess all people will not know specifically how I play, so it's not really a big deal. It's just always something to think about for when you play people that will know how you play, and can exploit those facts. something gives me the feeling that if I 3-bet this player, he's not going to give any belief to it. So I'm going to try to wait until it's a spot where I either have a hand or I believe he won't play back at me. It's a moderately tight fold at a weak table where it seems like no one's really 3-betting me too much, but I can still get flatted a lot in position. And something to consider is that when your image is really good, you should probably avoid marginal spots in early position and maintain a good image and continue to profit off that. Because there are going to be lots of spots where I'll be making 2 or 3 barrels, basically just because of my image. If I was suited, I think I would 3-bet here, but since I'm not, I'm just going to call. Mainly just because I 3-bet previously. I'm just going to go ahead and fold the flop here, even though I think I have the best hand a lot. It's just a bit too weak to peel. I can get barreled too much. One thing to consider, though, is that a lot of the cards that he'll barrel are cards that improve me. But I still think it's a bit of an overextension to peel king high there. Although it makes me wonder, because if I had a hand like ace, well, I guess I really wouldn't peel a hand like ace-8 suited there, unless I had a backdoor flush draw. Nope, seems fine for me to fold there. Pretty easy open. As you see, I'm opening probably 85% of buttons. It's just very hard for the blinds to combat that. One way to combat it is probably to get big pairs and ace-king. I would be very surprised if Dirk was light. Yeah, okay. Not that this really surprises me, but he definitely overplayed his hand here a lot. I'll just take note of it. Ace 10 off. Small blind versus my button open. 65, approximately 65 big blinds deep. 5-bet over big blind cold 4-bet. Yeah, as I was saying though, the deeper the stacks, the more difficult it is for the blinds to combat late position steals, because you can make much more profitable calls. If your opponents aren't capable of 5-betting, you can 4-bet them mercilessly. And when you do call them very light, if they c-bet too much, you can float or bluff raise, and it'll basically just result in them losing and you winning. I've had people ask me how you combat people who 3-bet a lot. Basically, I think a lot of people, when they get 3-bet a lot, they start to panic. They're like, "Oh man, this guy's combating my aggression. This is terrible." But really, it's a good thing. Most people are 3-betting, who are 3-betting a lot, are 3-betting actually too much, to the point where they're just not going to be good enough to follow up their aggression on early streets on later streets. They just know that